Namo Buddhaya. Welcome everyone to another video. So today, let's talk about loneliness and how we can face this situation. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about two things. And the first one is the loneliness, and the second one is the solitude, which is more reframed version of being alone. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about loneliness. When we are around people, when we are living with people, and when we are in relationships with people, normally we feel happy. We feel that we are content, right? And we feel this joyfulness within ourselves. But when they are not around us, or when they leave us, sometimes when we have to depart from them, normally we feel depressed, sad, or lonely, or we feel like no one cares about us. So this is the feeling of loneliness. If we analyze this emotion of loneliness, we can find that we have become happy because of the people around us, because of their reaction, because of their way of behavior. That was the reason that we became happy. Simply it means that we have given the key of our own happiness to other people. So when they leave our life, sometimes when they depart from ourselves, sometimes when they fade away from our life, what happens to us is we become unhappy. We become sad, we become depressed, and we feel like no one is caring for us. There is no one to help for me. That is what we are thinking. So how we can deal with this? Well, that is where we come to the topic of solitude. Supreme Buddha advised us, Supreme Buddha advised the monks to practice this practice of being solitude. So what do you mean by solitude? So first of all, let's compare the loneliness to the solitude. Then you can take some idea about that. In loneliness, when you're lonely, you're thinking for someone to come to your life and make you happy. That means you're depending on others. Your happiness depends on others. But in solitude, you try to find the happiness within yourself. When you find the happiness inside yourself, you don't want to depend on another person. You don't want to depend on second person. You can find your happiness within yourself. And that is what the practice of solitude gives us. So when you are being solitude, or simply when you are being alone, now there are the people talk about this like the loneliness and being alone is two different things, right? So when you're being alone or when you're being in solitude, you're happy. You're not finding the happiness from these outer sources. You find the happiness within yourself. So Buddha teaches us to look at this loneliness not as something to be sad, not as something negative. Buddha teaches us to look at this loneliness, something that is beneficial for you, something that is positive. So how we can use this loneliness, or how we can reframe this loneliness to be positive? Well, if you think about whenever you are being alone, you have more time for yourself, right? You have a bigger freedom for yourself. You can think about yourself. You can reflect more about yourself, and you can practice meditations, or you can think about your health and do some practices about that. You can do some self-development techniques, so you can improve yourself. So when you use that time, when you use that loneliness for good things, then you become more positive about that. Then you will never feel these sad or depressing states. So let me tell you a little story how Buddha felt lonely at one time. Actually, this incident happened to the Buddha before he became enlightened. We call him the Bodhisattva. When he was Bodhisattva, he was practicing this self-mortification for 6 years. He gave lots of hardships to this body. He did some extreme meditations in the jungle. So there were 5 monks who were helping the Bodhisattva. So he practiced these self-mortification meditations for 6 years and he mastered that. Finally, he came to the conclusion of that I cannot achieve this enlightenment by self-mortificating or by giving this extreme hardship to this body. So he decided to find this middle way. So what he did was, first of all, he took his bowl and he went to the village and he got some foods to eat. Because he thought that to do the meditations, I need to have this physical energy. But those 5 monks who were helping to Bodhisattva, who were expecting the enlightenment from the Bodhisattva through this self-mortification, was so confused because they saw that the Bodhisattva is having these foods. Then those 5 monks thought, like, now he's not going to achieve this enlightenment. The enlightenment can only be achieved by this self-mortification. So they never believed on the Bodhisattva. So what they did was, they left the Bodhisattva. Now our Maha Bodhisattva was all alone in the middle of the jungle. There was no one to help him. There was no one to care about him. No one knew about him. He was all alone. But he didn't think about that loneliness as something depressed or something negative. So he thought, now I have more time for myself. I can do my meditations freely. There was no one to think about me. So I must use this time for my self-development. That is what Maha Bodhisattva thought. So that is the way that we also should think about this loneliness. If you are feeling lonely, if you are having some kind of a loneliness situations in your life, use that time, use that valuable time to create a better life for yourself. Because you have more time. You can do meditations. You can stick into a daily routine of the self-development. You can do meditations, you can do workouts, you can walk for some time, and you can be with this nature, read a book, or learn something new, practice meditations, do exercises. These things can be done when you are all alone. So, rather than feeling depressed about the situations that you are in, why can't we become more happy about the time that we are spending alone, right? So practice this, okay? So if people comes to your life, let them come. If people walks away from your life, let them walk away. But you have to be by yourself. You have to think about yourself. That is what you have to think, and that is what you have to do in this valuable time. So I think you got some idea about the loneliness and being in the solitude. So practice the solitude and make your life more better. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. A quick question. Are you having sleepless nights because of these heavy loads of thoughts that are coming and looping inside your mind? Or are you someone who is imagining the worst case scenarios all the time whenever you're going to do something new? Or are you someone who is worrying about what other people will think of me? Well, if you are such a person, you might be overthinking. So let's find out a way where we can get out of our head and quit overthinking and get the works done. So what we can do for this? Well, the first and the foremost thing that you have to do is to realize that overthinking is not going to help you in the process, right? You can plan, you can analyze, but do not overdo it. If you are over planning, if you are over analyzing, it's not going to help you, right? It will distract you from the process. The first thing that you have to realize is that overthinking is not going to help you. The second thing, you can practice to be mindful. Now, this is a practice that you can do to stop overthinking, to be mindful, to practice the mindfulness. So how can we practice the mindfulness? So there are many ways that our great teacher Supreme Buddha taught us to be mindful. One of them is to be mindful about the breathing pattern, which we call anapanasati, right? When you become more mindful about this inhale and exhale, your mind instantly comes to the present moment, right? Now you're only thinking about inhale and exhale. You're being mindful about that. Now, instantly, you reduced these thousands and thousands and looping thoughts to 2 thoughts. What are those two thoughts? Inhale and exhale. So when you're thinking like that, and when you become mindful, normally, automatically, you will find the peacefulness and you will stop overthinking about these things, right? So whenever you catch yourself overthinking, what you have to do, take 3 deep breaths in and out, right? And just stay for a while by being mindful about your breathing pattern. Or you can be mindful about your body, right? You can ask from yourself that, how am I sitting now, right? What am I doing now? And you ask these things from yourself, you can answer these things like, I'm sitting now. You can recognize. When you do these things, you can be mindful. If you're mindful, your mind is in the present moment. And when your mind is in the present moment, your mind is in the peacefulness. There's a saying, and it goes like this. If you're sad, then your mind is in the past. If you're anxious, your mind will be in the future. But if you are peaceful and if you are still, your mind is in the present moment. So start living in the present moment, right? When you live in the present moment, when you live right here, right now, you can be more peaceful and you can stop these overthinking patterns, right? And also, there's another part of overthinking. What is that? The what if question, right? So many people ask from them that, what if this happened? What if this not happens, right? What if everything that I did was wrong? They are constantly thinking about these things like that, right? They are imagining these worst case scenarios. So, I must say something about them, right? So, if you're thinking this what if question again and again, you can ask from yourself, what if everything that I did was okay? You can be positive. What if everything that I've planned and I've done was really great? So that can happen. There is always many possibilities for your plans to go okay. So don't be negative. Always think, I'm not going to be perfect, right? I cannot be perfect, but I can be the best version of myself. I can do my best. I must do my best. And be positive and go for it and take risks. Without taking risks, we cannot be successful in our lives. So practice these things, right? Be more mindful, right? Be more kind to yourself. And always think that if I overthink, if I constantly worry about myself, it will kill the peacefulness of my life. So I hope this video gave some light to your life. So be peaceful and be mindful and get out of your head and start doing the works that you haven't done. Namo Buddhaya, Theruvan Saranai. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to yet another episode in Inner Guide Q&A program. A quick question. I need to ask, how many times have you made timetables and to-do lists in the beginning of the year, maybe beginning of the term or beginning of the day, and you did nothing according to it? Now, we all have done this. We all have made to-do lists, we all have made timetables, and we cannot stick to it. Why? Because we procrastinate. So in today's video, we're gonna be talking about what is procrastination and how to stop it. So first of all, don't be afraid of procrastination. Why? Because it's a normal human nature. You know, average human is a good procrastinator, right? Average human is lazy. We all have that feeling of procrastination and we all have that laziness within us. But if you need to rise above the average, if you need to be someone special in this society, you have to stop these bad habits, right? So, first of all, don't be afraid of the procrastination. We can stop that. Remember, the procrastination or the postponing, this mental laziness within yourself is a habit, right? So habits are all in your head. It's not in your body, it's not in your environment, it's all in your head. So you can control it and you can stop it, right? So, first of all, let's talk about what is procrastination. The procrastination is that mental barrier or the mental resistance that keeps you away from doing the things what should be done, right? So for an example, when you wake up in the morning and if you have to study in the morning, do you feel like getting down from the bed and start studying? When you are in that situation, you find that mental stress and mental barrier inside you. Your mind says, no, just stay on the bed for 5 minutes. It's okay. I have time. I can do it later. That is what mind says all the time. But the same mind that told us to procrastinate will complain when the things getting worse. When the exams are near, when the deadline is near, if you haven't done anything, your same mind that directed you to procrastinate will complain for you. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do the things according to the timetable? You are a procrastinator. That is what mind says, right? So we should not let our mind to trick us. So, how to stop procrastinating? Well, there is a nice Dhammapada verse that was preached by our Supreme Buddha. In that Dhammapada verse, we find lots of things that will help us to stop this bad habit. Supreme Buddha says, Uttanavato satimato suchikammassa nisammakarino. If a person is energetic, uttanavato, satimato, if he is mindful, suchikammassa nisammakarino, if he does the good thing and the right thing from his body and mind and from his speech, sanyatassacha dhammajivino, if he can control his sensual desires, sensual cravings, appamattassa yasobhivaddati, that diligent man's fame and wealth will be developed. So in that Dhammapada verse, we find everything what we need to stop procrastination. So what are these things? Supreme Buddha said, Uttanavato, be energetic, take action. Well, there's only one way to stop procrastination, and that is to take action. But that is a tough hurdle to jump, right? To be energetic, to take action, and to do the works, it's a tough thing to do. So what we should practice to jump this tough hurdle, we should practice, first of all, we should practice the mindfulness. That is why Supreme Buddha said, Uttanavato satimato. You should be mindful about yourself. You should be aware of yourself constantly. So for what we should be aware, we should be aware towards our mind. Right? Now, before I told you, the procrastination is a mental condition. Right? It is all in your head. It's a thought, it's an emotion. So you should be mindful and you should be aware of your thoughts. Right? You should have that ability. When you become more aware of your thoughts, you can have that ability to detect what is coming inside to your mind. When the laziness comes in, when the lazy thoughts come in, you know, oh, that's a lazy thought. And now I need to take action. Right? When the anger comes in, you can detect it. Now there's anger now. My mind is angry now. When you become more aware, then you get the opportunity to control it. When you become more aware of your thoughts, you will have that ability to control that thought. So first thing is to be aware, to be mindful, right? So that is why Supreme Buddha said, Uttanvato satimato. Suchi kammasani sammakarino. Do what is right. Right? So when you're studying, if your mobile phone is next to you, right? After some time, you get that mobile phone and you scroll through social media. You scroll through the phone. So in that time, if you can ask from yourself, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the good thing? Am I doing the thing that should be done? Then your mind answers, this is not what should I do. I should study, get back to study. Right? That is why Supreme Buddha said, always do what is right and do what should be done first. Right? After that, in the spare time, in the leisure time, you can have that experience. You can have that. You can enjoy yourself. Right? That is why Supreme Buddha said, Suchi kammassa nisammakarino. Sanyatassacha dhammajivino. You need to have that ability to control your sensual desires. Right? Now, your mind likes to log on to social media. And your mind likes to be lazy and to stay without doing anything. Right? So that is why your mind always tries to procrastinate. So Supreme Buddha said, to be a special person, to have the successfulness into your life, you need to give up the sensual desires for some extent. Right? So, it is very nice and it is very comfortable feeling that you feel in the morning, on the bed, right? It is nice and warm. But if you have to study, you have to give up that pleasurable feeling and you have to get back to studies. So that is why you need to have that mental power and mental ability to stop or to give up the sensual desires for some extent and do the work. Because if you do the easy thing, right? If you continue to do the easy thing always, remember, tomorrow will be hard. Your future will be hard. So if you need to be happy in the future, you have to undergo what is hard today. So that is why Supreme Buddha said, you need to control the sensual desires. If you can do these things, Supreme Buddha said, appamatasaya sobhivadati, that diligent man's fame and wealth will be developed. So these are the things which helps us to stay away from procrastination. So I need to share with you some more tips and more things to help you to stop this bad habit. Remember, the procrastination is a habit. And it is a way of relieving the stress, right? So for an example, if your exams are near, right? If you have a lot to study, normally what you do you study or you procrastinate? You procrastinate because your mind needs to relieve that stress in a way, in some way. So your mind chooses the easiest way to procrastinate. So always remember, it is a habit and that habit can be broken. So how to break your habit? There is only one way: to take action, right? Do the opposite thing. In the case of procrastination, you have to take action, right? So that is what you should be done. And also there's another thing. When you make the timetables, when you make the to-do lists, always make the to-do lists and the timetables that you can afford. Sometimes students, they make the timetables and to-do lists that they cannot afford those things, right? For an example, many of us make the timetables like this. I'm going to study for 1.5 hours. I'm going to study for 3 hours. But your mind is not ready for that. So what you have to do? You have to make achievable and realistic goals and timetables. Let's say like this. If you have to study for 5 minutes, would you be happy? Only for 5 minutes. Your mind also happy, and your mind tends to do that, right? So what you have to do, just if you cannot study for maybe 20 minutes, just make a timetable or a to-do list to study for 5 minutes. Tell your mind that I have to study only for 5 minutes. Just that, it's all, right? Then you have that motivation, and then you have that power to get up from the bed and get up from the place where you are and start studying. So what you have to do? Set the achievable goals in your timetables, right? You can start from 5 minutes, or if you cannot start from 5 minutes, just start from 1 minute. It's okay. If you cannot start from 5 minutes, just start from 1 minute. Who cares? It's okay. The reason that we have to set these achievable goals is because when we set these small goals, right, small tasks, in reality, we do more than that, right? Everyone can study more than 5 minutes. Everyone can study more than 1 minute. So in reality, you do more than that, right? And by the time, little by little, you can increase the amount of time that you are studying, right? So that is much better than postponing the works. That is much better than doing nothing. So always set the achievable tasks. And there's another one. Ask one of your friends or one of your parents to review what you have done at the end of the day. Then you will have that motivation, or you will have that power inside to do more and more, to impress your friends, maybe to impress your parents, right? Ask one of your friends or parents to review and check what you have done. And also, this is the main thing that you have to do. You need to change your mindset. Don't label yourself as a procrastinator. Remember, you're not a procrastinator, but you only have a habit of procrastinating. So you can break it. The more you label yourself as a procrastinator, the more you will procrastinate. So what you have to do, change your mindset and think that this can be broken, this bad habit can be broken, and I have that power inside me to do work and to be successful. Okay? So these are the things that we can do to stop procrastination. And always remember, finally, always remember this, right? When you're procrastinating, when you're postponing, you're not only postponing and procrastinating your work, but you also procrastinate your happiness. So don't let your procrastination to destroy your happiness. So stop procrastination by practicing these tips and have a happy life. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome everyone to another video. Today, let's talk about something that is really important for all of our lives. Now, if you want to be good at anything that you want to be good at, let's say if you're studying, or if you're meditating, or if you are someone who is practicing the spiritual path, what is that one quality that you have to have in your life to be a master of it? If you're studying, what is that one quality that you have to have in your life to be a master? That is called consistency. Have you ever thought about why we are so good at bad habits or bad things? Bad things like anger, getting angry all the time, or feeling jealousy all the time, or bad things like procrastination or laziness. Why we are so good at these things? We are so good at these things because we have done it over a long period of time continuously, right? If you start getting angry, or if you start losing your temper again and again every single day, what will happen? You will be good at it, okay? If you are procrastinating the things that you want to do, then you will be a good procrastinator. So, one main important quality to be good at anything in this life, or to have a habit to our life, is consistency. That is why we are so good at bad things. So we can use this theory or this consistency for our own benefit, right? If you're someone who is studying, right, you have to do it every single day, again and again, repeatedly, even in the days where you don't feel like doing it, because that is the hardest part and that is the most important part. When you feel like not doing it, but if you keep doing it, if you keep moving forward, if you keep going through it, then you will be able to make a good habit of it. And once you become good at it, or once you make a habit in it, then it will be so easy for you. So that is why our great teacher, Supreme Buddha, said that when you practice the spiritual path, right, when you practice meditations, do it again and again and again. Do not do it like here and there, once in a week, once in a blue moon. When you do that, and when you expect more results, you will never get it. So that is why Buddha said, Mettaya bhikkhave cheto vimuktya asevitaya bhavitaya bahuli kataya. Buddha said, when you practice the mind of loving kindness, this is about practicing the loving kindness, meditation and mind of loving kindness. Asevitaya bhavitaya bahuli kataya. That means you have to use that mind of loving kindness. You have to do it again and again, consistently, bahuli kataya. Use it again and again. When you do that, you will be good at it. And the loving kindness, or the love, or the patience, or the compassion will be a part of your life. Okay? So when you meditate, when you practice spiritual practice, or if you're studying, or if you're in a profession, if you are developing a skill, then what is the most important thing to have in your life to be good at it? The consistency. So do it on the days that you don't feel like doing it also, right? When you do that, when you move forward through it, then you will be a master of it. But here's the most important thing that you have to have. Do not judge your progress in your life, right? We are so busy to have quick progress, quick results, because we are used to this instant world, right? We live in an instant world, right? We can find everything we want in our mobile phone, right? If you want to Google something, instantly you get the results. So we are used to this instant world. But when it comes to the spiritual practice, when it comes to the soft skills or developing the skills that you want, it is not that easy and it is not that instant. You have to do it little by little, and you have to expect little progress from one session. So do not judge your progress. Do not judge your improvements. The most important thing is to do it every single day. Keep moving, and then you will be a master of anything that you want to be a master of. Okay? So I hope you got some idea about the consistency and the value of it. So keep practicing and keep doing these things. So I wish you all, may all of you be well and happy, and may all of you live in peace forever.